Hi, Kelly here from freebiefindingmoms.com. Thank you for joining me if you're watching on YouTube. If you will, please give this video a thumbs up and click subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and invite over our friends from Freebie Finding Moms Facebook page. Hi, Kelly here from freebiefindingmoms.com with another session of Money Talk, where basically on Fridays we get together around 1:30 Eastern time and we just kind of address the questions that that people have brought to my attention throughout the week. And then I post those questions on the Freebie Finding Mom Facebook page. And then you guys provide your responses, your insights. And then on Friday, I kind of do a recap of some of the questions that are most popular or I think would be most relevant to everybody. So with that said, wherever you're viewing in from, whether you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, please give this video a thumbs up or like, if you will, and let me know where you are viewing from in the comments. I just like to see where everybody is from. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so let's get started on the first questions. So this past week, Nicole had asked the question of, she said she's only 28 years old. Her husband is also only 28 years old, and they don't have any children. And she wanted to know whether or not she needs life insurance. And you guys were great on the Freebie Finding Mom Facebook page and provided helpful insights. And that Veronica mentioned a very good point about, excuse me, about how the younger you are, that your health is very important when getting your quote for how much you're going to pay for life insurance. So she brought up the good point that, even though you're young and you may not think you need life insurance, it might not be a bad idea to get evaluated to get life insurance now, simply because if you're in good health, it's going to be cheaper for you to get life insurance now versus say when you wait. And if, unfortunately, if you catch something or discover something in yourself, then it'll be a lot more expensive. So Veronica, thank you for sharing that reminder that health insurance is definitely more expensive the older you get. And so it may be wise to be evaluated for it sooner than later if you're in really good health. And then Heather, you're right. Heather brought up the comment that, funerals are very expensive. So yeah, you may not, Nicole, you might not have any kids right now. You're 28. The last thing you might be thinking of is death, but it may be a good idea just to see, do you have enough assets to bury yourself is the way I determine whether or not you need life insurance. Because what you don't want to do is be a financial burden. I know it's kind of a morbid thought, but a financial burden on your family and friends when you have passed, because, the last thing you want them to worry about is, finances. So what I would recommend for you is, Nicole, first off, do you and your husband have enough money to basically pay for your funeral? Would you have enough money to not only pay for a funeral, but also settle your account, settle your assets? And what I mean by that is, I wouldn't necessarily say you have to have enough to pay off a house or anything. What I would say is, do you have enough to settle that house? So to make sure you don't have any liens on your home, make sure there's nothing like no loans that are outstanding. If those are all paid off and you know that you would have enough in your savings or in some sort of a investment account that you could, that your family and friends could use that to pay off or settle your estate, then I think you're fine. That combined with the fact, like I say, and if you can bury yourself, if you could pay for your own funeral, that would be how I would determine whether or not you should get life insurance. But I do like Veronica's idea though about, if you're only 28 and if insurance isn't that expensive for you now, it's something to really think about, especially if you are going to have kids down the road. Because if you're going to have kids in the next year or two, it might behoove you to just go through the process and, get the exam done and start that process so that, when you're not pregnant or just had a child, you're not worried about it. So maybe start to do some preliminary research if you're thinking of starting a family. So that's what I would say. And then when it comes to what kind of life insurance, I like term life insurance. And I would recommend most anything when you do, whatever you do financially, I always say get multiple quotes. And that's true with life insurance as well. We went through, I believe it was Select Quotes, and we got our life insurance when I was pregnant with our son. So that's typically, I think, when they have a major life event, like a pregnancy, is when people typically get life insurance. But like I said, if you think, Nicole, that you're going to be having a child in the next couple years, it may be something to start to think about now, just so that you're, doing your research ahead of time and you're not kind of rushed when you're, busy with everything, like getting ready for a child and stuff. So that was Nicole's question. Thank you, Veronica and Heather, for chiming in and answering her question. This nice random hair sticking up. Okay, there we go. I'm sure it'll be back. Trina's question this week was, congratulations, Trina. Trina said, as of October, they are going to be debt-free. So congratulations, that's a big achievement. And she's wanted to know whether or not they should cancel their credit cards since or especially the ones they're not going to be using anymore. Trina, you would think that that would be the advice that people would give you, is that you should cancel them, but you really shouldn't. Research has shown that credit card canceling will actually hurt your credit score. So, and you guys already knew that, like here on Freebie Finding Moms Facebook page, you guys were great. Susie said, yep, you don't want to cancel your credit cards. It's going to hurt your credit. She said, don't close them. Even just leave them open. Don't use them. If you have a lot of them outstanding, she said, maybe go ahead and close one or so at a time, but definitely do not close more than one at a time because it's going to impact your credit score, especially if you're going to be needing to have your credit score ran here in the near future, whether you're making a large purchase or a loan you're going to be trying to get, then definitely don't do anything with those credit cards. Then Casey and Peggy mentioned just go ahead, leave them open, cut them up so you're not even tempted to use them. I think that's great advice too. I know it bugs me too because I have one in particular that I really would like to close because I know I don't even use it anymore, but and I got it many, many years ago, but there's no balance on it. It's not hurting anything. It's probably good to have a backup card because I really don't have that many. But I understand the temptation to want to cancel your credit cards, but really, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just leave them open with zero balance. And I don't want to bore you with all the details why that is, but basically credit, when creditors, when you go for a loan, they want to see that you have a lot of available credit balance. Well, so they want to see that you're eligible for a large credit balance. So that's what helps your credit score. Not that you're using it necessarily, but that you have a lot of balance available. So that's why it's good to have, or in their eyes, it's good to have a lot of credit cards with zero debt on them, but because it shows that you have a lot of available credit, and that to them signals a higher credit score. If you want more information on like do-it-yourself credit repair and how to kind of investigate whether or not there's a credit issue on your credit report, check out my YouTube video I did probably like a month or so ago about that topic. If you want, I will go ahead and when I'm done taping this video, I will put a link to that credit repair video in the comments here, so you can check out that for more information at Trina or anybody else that has any questions. So thank you, Trina, for your question, and thank you guys so much for chiming in and answering her question on the Freebie Finding Mom Facebook page. And then one other question I wanted to address was Sarah's question. Sarah had mentioned, she said, she knows she needs to save for her children's college, but she's not sure quite how. So that's, and then somebody mentioned, Mandy had mentioned she had the question of whether or not, Sarah, you live in the US or in Canada, because that would be treated, the advice would be different, I guess. So I can only speak to what I would recommend here in the US. But Mandy was kind enough to mention that in Canada, the government offers grants that can sometimes help with your saving towards your children's college. So thank you, Mandy, for sharing that, because I didn't know what they did in Canada. I know I can just tell you from my personal experience, but first I'll mention what Veronica offered another good piece of advice. And she said, go ahead and Google, Sarah, college planning calculators. And that's probably a good way to start to determine how much you're going to need to save for your child's college. And there's so many out there. I haven't looked in lately. I mean, I probably looked most recently, like the last 2 years or so, but you just Google just college savings calculators. You'll get a lot of different ones. Play with multiple ones, see which ones are easiest for you to use and that provide the kind of information you're looking for. And just play with them and kind of get a rough idea of how much you're going to need to save for your children's college to be able to accumulate however much you want to pay towards their college. And the way that I would recommend doing that, so that's a good starting point, Sarah, is to just kind of run through some calculators, kind of get some preliminary numbers of how much maybe each month you should be setting aside for your children's college. That's the first thing with determining the amount. And then I would say I recommend 529 plans. I think, Veronica, that's what you said you have to. Yep, Veronica, that's what you said you do too. 529 plans are so great and they're so user friendly. And there's just what I like. There's so many advantages to them. Another one being like, you can transfer the balance over to other children. So if you don't use all the 529 balance for your one child, you can always transfer it to another child. They can use it for, I think they can always use it toward like room and board and stuff too. So it's not just on tuition. So it's forgiving. And it's a great avenue too. If you're looking for family relatives, if they want to give money towards a child's college, they can just make contributions into the 529 plan in your child's name. So it's a great idea for gift giving too. But I like 529s too because they're simple to use. Like you don't have to go in, like we talked prior about doing your own investing and going in there and doing your own trading. You don't even have to go in and do any trading or anything like that. It's very simple. And the fact that you can go even to your state's direct 529 plan website. We used to live in Ohio. So when I started for our son, I went to Ohio's 529 plan website. It's exactly what I did. And I made a contribution there. And then if you're trying to, if you want, you can always go to a broker or a financial advisor, somebody, go to your local bank or whatever, and they can set you up, I'm sure, as well. But honestly, I don't feel like you even need to do that, because I mean, you're going to probably incur some fees or they're going to expect some payment in return for their services, which is understandable. But I feel like, especially 529 plans, they're so simple that I don't feel like you necessarily have to do that. I recommend personally going to your state's 529 plan website, doing some preliminary research, print off, some of the latest quarterly results, and see what the performance has been. That'll help you determine what you want to invest it in. If you're still kind of overwhelmed, if you're like, oh gosh, what do I pick? One stock, one investment, one stock, one mutual fund, go with an age-based fund if you're not sure. And what age-based funds are is they basically it's a target fund. So it'll be based on your child's age. So whatever, you go ahead and make your contribution, whatever you can do. And once you made your contribution, if you put it in an age-based fund, it's going to be actively adjusted based on your child's age. So whoever is the manager of that age-based fund, say it's Vanguard or somebody, if they're the manager, what they will do is each year, or I'm not sure if they do it on a quarterly basis, but on at least a yearly basis, it will be analyzed to determine how the diversification is going to be changed. So for instance, when the child is really little, when they're very young and you're making a contribution, it's going to be like 90% in equities, or basically stocks, as it should be, because you can be the most aggressive. You're not going to need that money anytime soon. But as your child gets older and gets closer to college age, they're going to probably be less aggressive and more conservative. Maybe even move some of the assets over into more liquid assets, because you're going to be pulling out, people are going to be pulling out cash out of that. So it's great because you don't have to do any of the rebalancing. So what I'm saying is if you're like, I'm not sure which funds to pick, go with something like that. Go with an age-based or a target fund where it's going to be actively managed for you. It'll be adjusted based on your child's age. So you really don't have to worry about it. You just need to make the contribution. So that's my recommendation for college savings. So I like 529 plans, Sarah. And so those are the few questions that I wanted to address this week. A couple other items that I want to mention. One of them is my new video is up on YouTube on how much money you can save making your own homemade face moisturizer. I think you'll be surprised. I made this homemade face moisturizer and I compared it versus 4 of the leading face moisturizers that you would buy on Amazon. Basically, you can buy them in the drugstore, on Amazon, or wherever, and you would save minimum of $100 a year making your own face moisturizer. So you can check out that video if you want. I will go ahead and put a link to that new video in the comments down here once I jump off this video. And that's just using the face moisturizer. Just one more thing I want to mention about that is I'm trying to do these videos because I want you guys to see that you really can save real money when you make your own product, whether it be skincare products or whether you make your own household cleaners or laundry detergent, and using essential oils, because I think people need to get their head around like how you really use essential oils. And I really want you to see not only how you can use them, create a more chemical-free, healthy environment for you and your family, especially if you have kids and pets, but not only that, but how much you can save. Like, you can save real money. Be on the lookout, because I'm going to do some more videos on that. Like I said, in this past week's video, I show you how to save over $100 a year on face moisturizer. This weekend, I want to tape a video on how much money you'll save making your own microdermabrasion paste recipe for your face. It's one of my favorite DIY beauty products. I'm going to tape that video this weekend and get that up probably in the next week. And so I'll show you how much you can save doing that. The ones I'm also really excited about doing is I'm going to make homemade hand soap, and I'm going to show you how much you can save making your own homemade hand soap. So simple, so easy, so inexpensively that you know how overpriced those hand soaps are in the store. It's crazy. Even if you go to Costco or BJ's or Sam's, you're still overpaying, and you can easily make this stuff at home and save so much money. And then also in the coming weeks, the one I'm really excited about as well is your own homemade laundry detergent. How much money, I think people will be really blown away at how much they can save making their own laundry detergent and their own household cleaners, and getting rid of a lot of the chemicals and toxins in your house. So it's just makes a lot of sense, to be honest. So be on the lookout for those future videos. And if you didn't catch Ian and I's video last night, we did a Facebook Live on the Freebie Finding Mom Facebook page. And on there we made our sunburn relief cream. So if you haven't seen that Facebook Live, you can check that out. That's here on the Freebie Finding Mom Facebook page still. That was our Facebook Live last night. And then let me see. Oh, and then don't forget, if you have a Kroger or a Kroger affiliate store near you, to grab the freebie today. You just download it today, but you have at least a couple weeks before you need to redeem it. I think today's freebie was Ghirardelli chocolate, so you don't want to miss that one for sure. And then one more thing is I taped a video last week, and it's going to be up, should be up and edited early this next week. And it's about the difference between an ETF or an exchange traded fund and a mutual fund. So what an exchange traded fund, just real quickly, is it's basically, it's a fund that's going to mirror either an index, it's going to mirror either stocks, or I'm sorry, an index or bonds or commodities or a basket of assets. And people usually buy them for a myriad of reasons, I explained in the video. But they're a really great investment option. It's one of the cheapest investment options. Some people don't even know about them or use them that often, and it really should be something that you should consider in your portfolio because they're super simple to invest in, and they can be a way for you to earn the market rate of return. And you wouldn't necessarily have to pay a broker because you can buy them directly through like iShares and that kind of thing. So anyways, I'm excited to get that video out. I hope that's helpful for you and your money management initiatives. So that video should be out. Like I said, the ETF versus the mutual fund video should be out early next week. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos, by all means, keep sending them. You guys had some great ideas this past week for DIY recipes you wanted to see. If you go to freebiefindingmom.com, you know that I share a slew of tutorials and all kinds of DIYs, especially using essential oils. And you guys gave me the good suggestion this week to do a bug repellent, which I've not done before. I've done bug bite stick, but I've never done a bug repellent. And then you also gave me the idea to do like an after sun exposure spray. So I'm going to work on that one. And then a perfume. I can't believe I hadn't thought of doing a perfume yet using essential oils. So I'm going to do that as well. And those should be up on the blog in the next week or two. And then I'll probably do some videos on those too in the near future as well. So as always, keep the ideas coming, whether it be a DIY recipe that uses essential oils that you want to know about, you can send it to me and I'll work on it. Or if you have a money question, as always, if you guys are more comfortable sending your questions to me direct message, that's perfectly fine as well. Any questions you have, like I say, about saving money, making money from home, or I get quite a few questions about that. Life insurance, I get a lot of questions about college savings plans and that sort of thing. So, or investing, because that was my background, was in investments. So by all means, you're welcome to ask those questions. I'd be happy to address them here with you on either Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're viewing from. I'm happy to answer those for you. So that's why I do these Friday videos, because I want you to know that I'm here to help if you have any money questions. And if you are in debt, I get a lot of debt questions too. Getting out of debt, it's something that you can get out of. So be rest assured, it's not the end of the world. I get a lot of kind of discouraged moms out there who, need some suggestions on how to get out of debt. Hey, Stephanie. Oh, hey, Steph. And so by all means, please feel free to ask any questions you have about those. And just know that I want to be a resource to help you through that. Without further ado, I hope you have a fun weekend planned. I think we're going to a birthday party tomorrow night, and that's about it. So hopefully it'll be fairly calm. But whatever you do, I hope you have a fun and safe weekend. And thank you again for taking the time to watch. Bye-bye.